So now you.
And now, from the Cave of Wonders and recorded live in the presence of gods, welcome to the Rain Man Show.
All right, hello everybody. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, how are you?
We have a very, very fun show today.
A special fun show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm hoping it'll be fun. It has a lot of me talking.
Because the others don't?
That will be very fun, don't you think?
I think so. I think that's what people come to listen to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At least you more than anybody else.
I'm hoping that's why. I'm hoping I can manage to attract people to the show, and then hopefully they stay. Come for Thomas, stay for me.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah. 2 birds, 1 stone. Right?
And that's really what we all want,
2
right?
penises for the price of 1.
Do we get paid for?
No.
Okay.
No, don't be ridiculous.
So we're just sluts. We're not whores.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just clarifying.
Let's not slut shame.
No, I'm proud of it. I think people know that at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Fair enough, Thomas. So we missed a few things while we were away.
The world coming to an end, apparently.
It really is, though. I mean, you have the entire Texas region, or the southern part, right? The part close to the ocean. How much of Texas is a shoreline? Do we know this?
I don't know. So
I thought you're
Andrew
Mr.
will have to get on that.
I thought you're Mr. You know everything.
Geography by miles, not exactly.
Well,
no.
Now I know what to test you on next time.
Oh, crap.
So it doesn't backfire on me
I mean,
miserably.
500 miles. I don't know.
So, yeah.
500 more?
Shut up.
You guys are going to have to talk because something's wrong with your mic, Thomas.
Oh, good.
So Texas has apparently 367 miles of coastline and is the 6th most ranked state with the most coastline.
I mean, the
allegedly.
6th largest.
But apparently there are 2 ways of measuring coastline. One method is the CRS method, which is the 367, and the second method, which is the NOAA method, which marks 3,359 miles.
Okay, well, I don't think that's right.
Thank you, Andrew. And you know what? Finally, Andrew is falling back into the autistic category.
It's a chair that I forgot how comfortable it was.
Yeah, I'd rather Andrew be in the autistic chair rather than being the gay go-to annoying vortex joke.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I like the gay jokes as well.
Well, we didn't say they're leaving.
No.
Maybe just less.
Yeah.
Okay, so 300-something miles of coast.
That's a lot.
Texas.
That's a lot.
You don't think of Texas as a coastline state.
Yeah.
I just always think like the Alamo. And
I mean, when you look at it on a map,
Wow.
the whole bottom.
that's what I think of. I don't know why.
Well, you're supposed to remember it. So, I mean.
The only thing worth remembering in Texas.
Oh, my God. How you doing today, Tony?
Hey, okay. How about you?
Good. Doing really well. And Andrew, you're doing good?
I'm doing pretty all right.
Good. I'm glad. You seem to be a little more in better spirits compared to the last couple weeks or the last few shows.
Yeah.
Did you need some time off to recover, lick your wounds, or are you just coming in with a better mindset now?
I told somebody off.
Yeah, you
Ooh.
did. Yeah,
and
you
I
did.
feel...
Yeah, you did.
You feel empowered.
I feel like I'm not, like...
It gave you a boner, didn't it?
It gave me a real...
Yeah.
It gave me a justice boner.
There you go.
Not gonna lie.
That happens.
Well, sometimes you need to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I know your natural inclination is to lay down on your back and spread your legs, but sometimes you just need to stand up.
That Amazon position.
Yeah. There was a bit of drama, Thomas.
Really?
On social media amongst the Rain Man Digital staff. And
yes.
I don't know. Should we talk about this? Should we talk about it?
I will say
I'm talking to Thomas.
Thomas?
Thomas?
Oh, man. I
Don't look at Andrew. Because you guys have formed some type of friendship over the past 3 weeks.
Isn't it old hat, though? Isn't it normal to have this sort of drama?
I think so.
I feel like the indigenous folk are teaming up against the conquistador and me. And that's what I feel like in the studio.
Because you're the Spaniard.
I feel like there's going to be a hostile takeover soon. I feel like you've fallen in this category of like a diplomatic chair a bit, where you're playing both sides, Thomas.
I feel like I've had to at times.
Oh, yeah. So there has been some drama circulating, Andrew. I know, Thomas, all too well. I've been there from back and again on repeat. That news chair, it never stays filled. Ever.
There's usually a problem.
Since I started doing radio, it's never been an easy chair to sit in. And Andrew, I think at the end of last week's show, or whatever our last show was, I saw it in his face. I knew he was done. I can tell that he was over it. I made him stay after class, and him and I talked about it. We came to the same conclusion that we're kind of both burnt out on it, on Andrew being the butt of the jokes. It's not funny unless it's funny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be, that's all it is. So we talked it out, and again, I don't make fun of Andrew outside of the radio, meaning when the mics are on, I make fun of him. When the mics are not on, I don't talk to him. But if I did, I would maintain professionalism.
Right.
And that's what happens in our group page. Our Cazador radio group page is only for radio hosts on the network. And I never make jokes in that page, but Ryan and Brian really go to town on Andrew on any forum. It doesn't matter if it's the public forum or the private Rayman Digital only forum. They always find a way to kind of persecute him a bit. And Andrew flipped out on them, specifically Brian, who's his first go-to gay buddy. His first lover.
It was his first.
It was his first. And you always remember the first, much like the Alamo.
They finally broke him in.
I just think Andrew is growing up. Honestly, he's grown up. And I think he's getting burnt out on people that I don't think have a certain amount. I'm not saying Brian doesn't respect Andrew. I think Brian just feels like he can pick on Andrew relentlessly outside of the show.
Agreed.
Because he's the one who brought him onto the network. And I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak for Brian. Brian and I did talk about it as well. And Brian did apologize. At least that's what he said. He said he sent a message to you, Andrew.
He did.
And apologized for it and said that, it's a joke. I do it everywhere. He did do that?
He did. He said, bro, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's all he said?
Yeah. For Brian, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Brian, I love you if you're listening, but I know you're not. But if you are, I love you.
Seriously.
That's it?
Yeah. If it was not in a private forum that was not for entertainment of the listeners,
right?
I would.
Well, let me
Let
me just say this now. Okay, let me just say this now. Andrew's my whipping boy. I pick on Andrew.
Nobody else gets to.
Nobody else does. That's my privilege. I've earned it. So
I bought him fair and square.
I owed him. So I'm setting the rule now. I pick on Andrew. And if you're in this show, during a live show, then you can also pick on him if I started it.
As long as it pleases you.
Exactly.
Just listen to the bus driver.
As long as it pleases the Lord, you can proceed.
The Lord now?
Yes.
Wow.
Conquistador,
I thought it was a bus driver, now
Lord,
he's a conquistador and a god.
Boat driver, bus driver.
From Cortez,
it depends on the sun god.
Don't you look at, Southern indigenous history and we're the Spanish people.
Yeah, you guys did some mind games.
Yeah, we
really
fuck with
did.
People. Yeah, we pretend we're going to give people hope. And then we rule Cuba.
That's terrible.
Anyway, so that we had to kind of get that out of the way a bit. But Andrew, I do want to say my piece, even though Thomas, we're going to try to steer away from the constant incessant gay jokes, and not because I'm censoring myself. So listeners, I don't want to get any messages saying, "Oh, that's no fun. You guys are
but like anything,
tucking tail and running." It's not about that. It's the fact that it's a regurgitated joke that's only funny sometimes, or when I deem it's funny. If I don't give my well wishes, then it's not going to be funny.
If the Lord does not say,
yes,
it is allowed.
Exactly.
And you are sinning.
It's just trite, and I got tired of it, and I'm going to effectively make an active changed.
Look at him.
Well, that means then when somebody tells you got to run in place, you can't say there's no room.
Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough.
So Andrew is not going to take it anymore. So are you going to join like a white supremacist group? Is that you're not going to?
Tony's starting one up. I'm pretty sure.
Tony wants desperately to be a Grand Dragon. He's just going to make his own offset.
Grand Wizard, you asshole.
What?
There's a difference, apparently.
Let's see. KKK.
So really, part of Andrew's problem, Thomas, when him and I talked, and I felt like it was definitely show worthy to get into.
Okay.
He just doesn't. I asked him about his lack of involvement because that's really where I get upset about. That's what I get upset about is the fact that he's the only person on the network that doesn't actively take an interest in talking to the listeners or liking posts or tweeting things out from his accounts. And it came down to the fact that he is afraid.
Okay.
He doesn't want his family knowing what he's doing. And I find that so in sync with Andrew's entire demeanor and his problems. And again, this isn't a joke of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
His girlfriend said it a year and a half ago that she believes he's bisexual. Andrew has shrugged and said maybe.
Okay.
I strongly believe he's bisexual.
Okay.
And obviously, the only reason why he does not come out of the closet as a bisexual male is because of his family's acceptance and the issues that he has with his family. It's so apparent. He can't even share a show because he's afraid of what his family is going to say about the show. And believe me, I understand that. I think you and I both fall into that category as well. But what do we do, Thomas?
I keep telling my parents
But what do we do, though?
Lie.
Lie. Your mom knows what your personality is. She knows what the show is about. I tell my mother, she knows exactly what the show is. She listens to the shows where I don't curse a lot. And I say, hey, you can listen to this one. But she knows, though. She knows who I am. She knows what I do. I'm not closeted. The more we learn about Andrew, the more we realize that it comes down to one habit he has, and that's closeting himself. He's not willing to be who he is. And I think that's the stem of his entire problem. Everything.
Do we let Andrew rebuttal?
I am. I'm gonna let him rebuttal. Andrew,
I sort of feel sorry. I sort of feel empathy for Andrew because
Thanks,
he doesn't feel good show.
Apparently,
no, because for me it's easy because my parents are already racist.
Oh my god!
So it sort of like goes hand in hand. So it's like an easy.
See, it's not a feel good show. It's just
me.
Tony finding a way to say that he's.
I'm just saying that I understand Andrew because it's sort of like contrary to his family values.
Right. And if he was your father, he wouldn't accept it as well. That's why he can understand.
Exactly. I think that what would make it easy for Andrew is that if he and his parents shared the same values.
Right.
Like me and my parents, we share the same
values. They
values.
don't have to be good values. Right. They just have to be the same values.
All right. Let's, so that we can get Andrew relaxed, let's take him to the forest.
Oh, we're going back here?
Yeah. We need to go into the forest.
I wasn't allowed in the forest last time.
And we're going to lubricate his thighs.
It's muggier than last time.
So he gets comfortable.
Do we have rope?
God damn it, Tony.
All right, I need quiet. I need a good few seconds of quiet so we can all get relaxed. Thank you, Greg. Greg just sent me a message. Hold on, we're getting deeper into the forest.
All right. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one.
There's a spaceman?
Let's take
you deeper and deeper. I'm not the usual voice. This is the voice in your head, Andrew. All right, go ahead and tell me now. Do you feel closeted? That's very scary.
I'm going to turn that one off. Go ahead, Andrew. Tell me. Do you agree with some of what I say?
I do, actually.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The first point, though, with sharing to family, it's not that I don't want my family to know what I'm doing. It's just my family is not the audience for this show. Like, I've shown everyone a few of the early episodes that I was pretty happy about, and they just didn't care for it, and people... Anyway.
I need to get Oscar music to play them off. You know, like when they... Go ahead. Let's get to the good stuff, Andrew. Do you believe... that I'm partially correct?
That I cannot express myself in the way that I see
You're
fit?
very closeted in all aspects of your life.
I would say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. That's why he's very aggressive, and that's why I put the brakes on this, Andrew, because I don't want my very own Rain Man Digital 13 Reasons happening on this network. I don't want Andrew deciding to do the deed because everyone persecuted him, and then he writes us all like he does a podcast, an individual podcast for each of us.
It'll be a serial.
It'll be 13 episodes.
It'll be 13 episodes.
To be continued, or is it just going to have an abrupt ending?
I mean, it's all for an announcement, right? You got to leave it open-ended.
That's not even
like
funny.
my brain.
I can't.
I don't think it's open-ended. I think everyone knows how that one ends.
I think I need to put a disclaimer on what I just said.
The hosts of The Rain Man Show express their frustration through the method of satire and only wish to draw attention to the stupid actions of so many within our modern society. The use of racial slurs, offensive speech, and overly condescending attitudes of superiority are simply the tools which are used to display the non-justifiable actions of stupid individuals. Sorry, not sorry.
So I am correct then, right?
I just don't. So I went
Yes.
through college with like no friends.
Oh my god, it
Much
gets
like I
more
did through high
depressing.
school, in junior high
He's getting a
school.
little therapy, but okay.
So like, well, I mean, you gotta open up. We're deep in the forest, man. My
That's
thighs
true.
are lubricated.
Yeah, exactly.
This is true.
Once
gotta
he's
let it flow.
lubricated,
I'll shut up.
yeah. Once he's fully lubricated, and we gave him the Quaaludes, then he'll start opening up.
Yeah, I'll set up the rope right here.
Jeez.
Different activity, Tony.
Go ahead, continue.
So it's. I just didn't find a group of people that I could like open up around, and the people that I fell into, it's kind of not like. It's not the ooh of the people that I want to be with. But, you know, I like everybody that I'm around. And if I didn't like you guys, I wouldn't be here. And all my friends, you know,
This is a safe
quote
place.
unquote friends that I have.
It's a
I like
safe,
them.
very public
It
place.
is. Yeah. Fuck you,
The
fuck you,
listeners
fuck you.
know a lot about my body and life. So
I commend you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, to admit it, you're a little envious that the things we say on air, aren't you? You are.
How so?
Because you're not willing to really give up the goods because you're afraid. You're controlled by fear.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
understandable.
All right. So the Texas flooding, obviously, getting back on track here, has caused a lot of people to spaz out as usual, and rightfully so. It definitely is an issue to worry about and to see all the people out of homes. But it's never ceases to amaze me, Thomas, how quickly everything becomes a political push.
Oh, the second it happens, dude.
I mean, suddenly it was Trump's fault. It was Obama's fault. He's not even the president. It was white supremacists' fault for the flooding. I mean, Pat Robertson even came out and said that it was gays. I mean, it's God's judgment.
Did he really?
No.
Okay, I would have completely believed that.
However, he did say something like that in 2015, alluding to the fact that Texas, along with other states, will be washed away by flooding due to the fact that they're accepting gay marriage.
Do you think he got more believers as a result of this hurricane?
Well, who knows? I mean, does anybody... I mean, I hate to even ask that. Is there dumb people out there that would believe him? Obviously, there is. He has an audience for some reason.
That's a sad fact.
I mean, what is the demo for the 700 Club anyways? That he
700 years old.
Yeah.
What is the demo? Can you look that up, Andrew? I want to find out the demo. Because Pat Robertson has kind of become a prophet. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering if there are people kind of flocking to him now because of his convenient prophesying, right?
I think there are people that don't have access to cable or satellite.
Those who haven't read a book,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Or no, they have one book, Thomas.
There's the great
The
book.
Bible.
The Bible.
Tony.
God.
The Bible's all we need. That's the only book. That's the good book. That's the only book all
There are many
able-bodied
versions of the
humans
Bible,
need. No, just one. Just one.
The one written by the white man?
There's different versions written by white men, and there's bad versions written by women that we we took those out.
Of course.
We took those portions of the Bible out. You can't have a woman writing the Bible. I mean, for good golly, Miss Molly.
I mean,
You
the
just
pictures
can't.
give it away.
You can't have that. The Bible's masculine. The Bible's about cock and balls.
So
that's a good thing.
And
the one
yes, and I'm not saying that, and I'm sorry for the listeners out there who might have been shocked by my language just now, but it's not a bad thing when you're using it to define what the Bible's really about. It's about masculinity and dominating the woman.
My pop-up book doesn't count?
Women are there to give me children as a helper. I gave her one of my goddamn ribs. And I gave God. I gave God one of my ribs, and boof, I got a woman.
Boof.
Most of the time, I'm like, God, if I give you a smaller rib, can you give me a little boy?
Oh,
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, the visual.
Speaking of visuals, Melania Trump now, she's a looker. I mean, there was so much bad press. The fact that she strolled in all sexy into Texas, walking with stiletto heels.
In the middle of a freaking flood.
God bless her. She is singly the best. Her and her stepdaughter, is that her stepdaughter, right? Ivanka.
Yeah.
They're just the best thing to ever happen to this country in years since Malcolm. Since Malcolm and Martin Luther King.
That's how far back you're going.
Yeah.
Those stilettos.
They're the two best things.
The four best things.
Yes. I love it, man. It's just amazing how she just walks in. She looks like a superstar. How can you dislike her? And she's an immigrant. You gotta like her, right? I think she's
made it far in this country.
She kind of fits every little bracket you need to check off, right? That we need nowadays. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, she's hot. That's what you need.
That's what you need.
She's a female. That's what everybody wants nowadays, right?
Right.
She's strong, right? She's independent. Check. She wears stilettos. Check.
She's not about to let the weather tell her what to wear.
Yes, weather does not dictate a real woman on what to wear. Weather is an accessory. Oh, man, the solar eclipse. Did you go out there and look at that a couple weeks ago?
Because I'm not an idiot.
Well, simmer down. Wait, you mean I'm not talking about looking at it without glasses or the little goggles?
No, I didn't have any kind of viewing device. I didn't have glasses or a welder's
You didn't make a pinhole inside of a cardboard box?
Because I was like, I don't want to see a shadow on a piece of paper. I'll just watch it online because that's going to give me a much better view than what I would look at blinding myself.
So the pinhole is a refractory lens. So it's a flipped image. So it's not just a shadow. It's an actual photographic image.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
I'm awesome.
Looking at a piece of paper and it's just like a shadow.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I might as well just make a shadow puppet. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Essentially,
That's how I saw it.
Essentially, it's the same thing.
So I was like,
I'm gonna look at it. If I'm going to take the time out of my day,
blind.
Well, not without.
No, but you want to do it legitimately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't have the means, so I was like, I'll just watch the news feed, although that ended up being a shit show, frankly.
Yeah.
With 10 different ones, and they're just spouting nonsense.
Some people,
I don't even care.
You find out some people lost their eyesight because people were looking. And I'm like, come on. Because I was questioning why schools, there was a lot of hubbub before this all happened. I believe it was on a Monday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
It was last Monday. A week ago. A week from Monday, right?
Yes.
A week from last Monday. And the schools were going insane here in town. The entire school district was sending out emails saying, do not let your kid look at the sun, even in the morning on the way to school. And then they said the kids are going to go outside around 10 o'clock, which is when it was going to happen here in Tempe, Arizona area. And they were going to take them out, make sure they have protective gear. Then they sent out emails saying the parents have to be there. Then they said only the parents can take them.
Oh, geez.
They were so scared that kids were going. Yeah, I don't know. Either our kids are getting stupider and you just can't say, hey, don't look at the sun, Tommy, because it'll blind your ass. Because the same thing happened when I was in school. I want to say in 4th or 5th grade, there was maybe 3rd. There was an eclipse like this one. And they told us all day long, just that day. They didn't do a massive disclaimer leading up to it. There was no massive messages going out to the parents. It was, hey, Mike, we're going to go see the eclipse today to study it for science. Okay. Be sure not to look at the sun directly because you can go blind. All right. Guess what? I went outside, didn't look at the sun.
Usually the whole you'll go blind would be enough.
How come the things that could work that worked in the past don't work effectively today? That leads me to believe that our kids are getting stupider. The fact that you have kids popping up in the news with burnt eyes.
Yeah.
Leads me to believe that kids are getting dumber.
I don't just think it's kids that are dumber, though. I think it's parents that are dumber.
So there was a
upbringing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the main hubbub for the school thing is a lot of these schools purchased counterfeit.
The Amazon counterfeit glasses,
Oh,
right?
Counterfeit glasses.
They bought
and
them
that's
from
why-
Mexico.
Well, they thought they were buying from a reputable source, and it turns out all of the ones
Chucky
that they
was
bought
behind that account on Amazon.
Just tin foil with holes punched
He's
in
a,
it.
hola, I got your goggles. Mira, come here. I sell you goggles. Want to look at the sun? Here you go. Put this box on. So they actually, Andrew, bought counterfeit
So they didn't.
goggles in this town. So they're the stupid ones.
No, so they didn't know that they were counterfeit. So there was this nationwide thing that all of these schools were buying from like a few different sources.
Yeah,
and
Amazon had a big recall, right?
All of these lenses that these people were buying were counterfeit. So that's why everybody's like, even if you have the glasses, don't look at the sun, because odds are they're not. If you bought them for $1 at Walmart or on Amazon,
well, first off, I would never buy $1 glasses to look at the sun.
That.
And
I did, and it worked great.
Oh,
and now I can't see purple.
Andrew, did you really buy dollar goggles and wear them? And
I
look
figured
at
I
the
might
sun?
as well give it a shot. It was only $1.
Wow.
Right?
And you didn't have any damage.
No, my eyes are fine. I actually got a vision test like 3 days later, and it was fine.
All right. You know what? Andrew's no longer under my protection.
No, I think it's parenting, and I think it's a dumber generation, because the parents are also dumb. Just like, yeah, I want to look, so my kid can look too. That's fine.
I'm going to look first to make sure it's safe.
Yeah, I saw the sun. I can still see. You're fine.
Yeah,
they don't pay attention.
I wouldn't doubt that. And the news coverage was insane. I love news coverage during wacky events, whether it be the Texas flooding or the solar eclipse. Like, you have this enthusiasm surrounding the whole solar eclipse thing, which is a bit exciting because I rather hear about science than Donald Trump for at least one day. And I was kind of wrapped up in it. And I was tuning into the news, and usually I don't listen or watch news in the morning. And I had it on, listening to all the news coverage, and I am so glad I never decided to get into that form of media, news. There is no room for any type of personality or even real news reporting when you're dealing with an event like a solar eclipse, something that's very high profile, trending, much like the election, or even say the flooding. There's no time to really talk.
Yeah,
they want to rush you so they can get instead of truly cover the next soundbite, instead of covering the actual topic at hand and getting into it, explaining to you the ins and outs. They're very fast to kind of push you out of the way and then talk about the next irrelevant story. And that's what I saw happening with the whole eclipse thing. You had this scientist with just tons of accolades. He has achieved this, anything you can possibly imagine in terms of like science and fusion and energy and astronomy. He's accomplished it. They bring him on. Let's say his name is Dr. Strange. Let's just say that because I don't remember his name. And they'll say, "Hey, Dr. Strange, so nice to have you on the show today. Please tell us about the lunar or the total solar eclipse and what to expect." Well, basically, this is one of those once-in-a-lifetime things. All right, next coming up in the news, we're going to get back to you in a minute. We got to go to a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to get into the recent Trump debacle, and then we're going to come back to you. I'm like, you didn't even let the dude talk. News is way too fast-paced. It needs to be slowed down. Unless there's an onslaught of news that they have to cover, I understand the pacing. But if you don't have all these things you got to get to, slow down and cover topics. Have a discussion, especially when you're dealing with the solar eclipse. That was a big deal at the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, you don't even get actual news. You just get sentences like this. He's from NASA. All right, cool. I'm waiting to hear about it. Tell us about the eclipse. Well, it's once in a lifetime, and we're back to such and such news about Trump. I didn't get anything from that. And I think that with YouTube and people getting stuff on demand, I know you hate him, but John Oliver has segments that go viral almost every week. Everyone's talking about his stupid segments, but they're like 13, 15 minutes long, and people pay attention. So we have the ability, but the news today doesn't want to give us a chance to digest anything.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I feel like the entire news infrastructure needs to be reworked and kind of, they need to update it. to modern audiences. Then they also have to focus on real news stories again. Whatever happened to the whole like really getting into the whole Barbara Walters?
Investigative journalism died with the blog.
It really did. And now you have a bunch of people blogging who don't know what they're talking about.
Have no credentials, have no grammatical sense, don't even care.
And then you have the insensitivity of so many people, the news reporters namely. This is actually an audio from the Texas flooding. Harvey victim with freezing kids curses out CNN reporter.
Some guys had called our phone.
First off, I'm gonna set this up, Thomas.
Okay.
You have a woman drenched, cold, shivering. She has kids, and you have a news reporter as if he was the paparazzi covering Brad Pitt's new hot date.
Don't even talk to her.
Phone and asked us where we were because we was waiting for the police.
First off, she's trying to be gracious. You can tell she's going to break into tears, but she's trying to be gracious.
Hear it.
For like 36 hours and they never came. And we was waiting at the home. We did the white flags and everything and nobody came. But then somebody had called the phone after we decided to leave the house and we had walked to the gas station with the kids. And then they had called and came and picked us up. But we had been there like 5 days with no food and no lights and nobody came. Like nobody came.
No, you're with your children. We've heard of stories of mothers.
And she's so patronizing. She's like hunched over her and she's like touching her arm. Okay? She's like petting her arm, like patting it.
We'll
trying
find you a home.
To save their children from the rushing waters. Can you tell us how that was?
Through 4 feet of water to go get them food on the first day. Yeah, that's a lot of shit. But y'all sitting here, y'all trying to interview people during their worst times. Like, that's not the smartest thing to do. Like, people are really breaking down, and y'all sitting here with cameras and microphones trying to ask us what the fuck is wrong with us.
All right, zoom in now, guys. Get a close-up on that.
She's crying. Good.
I want to get, really nice footage. Get in there close.
This is ratings.
Get a shot of her tears, and then I want you to pan down to her pathetic-looking child.
Bottle of tear. I want to drink that later.
So I'm so
and
sorry.
You're really trying to understand with the microphone still in my face.
I love it. She's tried. I'm sorry, and the mic's still in her face. I love this woman.
Yeah, I like her too.
I mean, I bet you.
I'm going to give her a Rain Man show hot
been
pass.
A producer saying slow motion, slow motion.
What'd you say, Tony? Because you were talking while I was talking. What'd you say?
There's like a producer in the background that's probably even like whispering in the reporter's ear.
Oh,
slow motion, slow motion.
Yeah.
Get a close up.
Yeah. Cue the music.
Yes, exactly.
Get down and y'all sitting here with cameras and microphones trying to ask us what the fuck is wrong with us.
So I'm so sorry.
I love that CNN didn't even censor that.
I know, that's awesome.
Because usually they try to go back and censor after when they release these online.
Yeah.
Really trying to understand with the microphone still in my face, with me shivering cold, with my kids wet, and you still putting the microphone in my.
She says sorry. She backs away from the mic, and then she keeps talking, so she puts the mic back in the woman's mouth.
Oh my god!
My face.
Sorry.
Actually, it sounds like. Kind of sounds like
my kids wet, and you still.
Kind of sounds like when Andrew talks. He doesn't talk in the mic a bit.
Yeah. Putting the microphone in my face.
Sorry.
Russell Flores, it sounds like you've got a very upset family there. We're going to take a break from that. We'll get back to you later on. Russ Flores in Houston for us. Thank you.
So confused. I don't know how to deal with reality. Oh man,
this wasn't scripted. Someone sent help.
Someone called us out in our shit. Oh, good God. Please, we need a break, please.
Group hug.
Break, please. Don't we have a big old tire commercial we got to go to? Please, save me. I don't know how to do on the fly.
I've peed a little.
On the fly news. This is not on the script. This is not on the teleprompter. What am I going to do, Thomas?
Where are the balloons?
Just panic. Panic and run.
The Rain Man Show will be right back.
I ate a bunch of coke.
Say, hey now, baby. Oh, mama, don't play now, baby. Say, hey now, baby. So let's get one thing straight now, baby.
Welcome back to the Rain Man Show with Michael Flores.
You know what it is.
Say Coke 45 and 2 zigzags. Baby, that's all we need. We can go to the park, after dog, smoke that tumbleweed. As the marijuana burn, we can take our
time. All right, Thomas, so a lot of positive things were said about our last show.
Really?
Yeah.
That's always nice.
I was a bit unsure how my entire I want to say, getting on the soapbox and talking about the media and how they over-sensationalize everything.
Right.
I was a little bit cautious. I wasn't quite sure how it would go over, just because of the fact that I know our audience, and I know that a lot of them are liberals, and I think a lot of them automatically want to believe in the Nazi agenda and that it exists and is there. And absolutely, that wasn't the point. It does exist.
It
exists there. But it's there. Obviously, there's racist people in this country, but my beef was about the media.
Right. And how bad they portray it versus the reality.
And I tried very carefully, when I planned out what I was going to say about the media, that it wouldn't be, I was hoping that it wouldn't be misconstrued as I was justifying for Nazis in some way.
Right.
And I think it went over well. And I'm glad that it actually was positive. It received a lot of positive feedback. Lorenzo Chamas says, the segment was fire, dude. I love the silly banter of your show. But damn, when you guys get serious, it's fucking truth. Se Chatali, I want to say. I'll catch this later. This sounds like something which needs to be broadcast and rebroadcast. Lee Kokol? How do you say her last name? Is it Kokol or Cockle? We've never asked her, have we?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah. We'll just say Cockle.
It's always just been Lee.
I like the way that sounds better. Cockle.
Cockle?
Yeah. She says, this should be on UK News. Ryan Loweth on our Facebook page says, this here is the reason why I urge my friends to listen to your show. The ability to strip from serious to comedic is flawless. I doubt your critics or possibly some of your listeners fully understand your ability and talent to juggle and balance both.
That's quite the compliment.
Oh, wait, it continues. Hold on.
But you're also morons.
He says, I don't think they quite understand your ability and talent to juggle and balance both in such a way that feels natural and not threatening. That's the problem with so many talk show hosts that talk politics or voice an opinion about real issues. They almost always come off as belligerent blowhards. Keep up the good work. I like that comment because he's right on.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Thank you, Ryan. And that's exactly true. And unfortunately, that's what you get a lot of on talk radio. Anybody who voices an opinion of a political nature, for the most part, that may be libertarian with right leanings or even libertarian with left leanings, they tend to come off as blowhards. Glenn Beck is technically a libertarian. Alex Jones, technically a libertarian. So you have
but it's their delivery.
two of the most foremost political talk show hosts with millions of listeners, and they come off as either religious zealots or blowhards. And some of their message is okay. Like Alex Jones is a little bit of a loony bin at times, but I would say a good 65-70% of what he says is pretty spot on. There's 30-35% where I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's nonsense, but...
Yeah.
25% of us of what we talk about is Tony.
But that's the problem also with a lot of these talk radio hosts that kind of prop themselves up as news. Alex Jones, I don't think, would be taking this much of a beating if he didn't try to prop himself up as news.
Yeah,
if he was a dude that says, "Hey, I'm a talk radio host that's trying to sell you tickets to the show, and I put on a damn good show." Hold on, Tony's off still. Hold on.
There we go.
And Andrew's on now as well. I feel like that if there was a disclaimer of sorts. Before their show. I think the fact that he tries to prop himself up as news more than anything, I think that's what hurts him.
Oh, I totally agree. I think that's what a lot of people immediately shut them down because, like, well, that's not 100% true. You're not accurate with this. And if they were more from this is just something that needs to be said from my opinion as a host,
right?
They'd get more people to actually listen.
I mean, imagine if I said Tony. Yeah. Yes. Imagine if I said that, Thomas. I went to Tony and said, hey, Tony, I want you to gather some data on a topic, and we're going to do a news show, and we're going to label you as news, not a talk show host. You're not a radio host. You're now going to be an investigative journalist.
Oh, Jesus.
And you're going to get a White House press pass.
White House.
A White House press pass.
Not a white sheet.
No, not the White House.
Not the big house.
So I get to be Anderson Cooper, but more manly?
So imagine that. And that's essentially what a lot of these talk radio hosts, these political talk hosts are doing now because they realize that's their market. They're like, hey, I'm not just a talk show guy. I'm the news. I have something important to say.
I am the truth.
take my opinion and now I'm going to pawn it off as fact. That's the problem. If Alex Jones was like, hey, I'm a radio guy that has an opinion, I don't think he would take as much heat as he's getting. And then, of course, his news organization, as they call it, has now gotten a press pass because they were gracious to Trump during his election. One of the few news outlets that were gracious to Trump during the election, so he gave them a press pass. And that's the problem, again, from the other side with news once again.
Because it just reinforces that this person's not qualified, but they are presented as such.
Yeah. Glenn Beck does a little better with it, meaning he actually has an entire separate entity, and he doesn't try to pawn his talk show, his morning show. It's actually a morning show. He does not try to call it news. He then has in the evening, he has his business side, his news side of things, where he has other news anchors and people.
He does a better job.
He does a better job trying to separate the two. So that's the biggest problem with this Alex Jones thing. Like, where everyone now wants to crucify the guy. And I understand the anger, because you have a talk show host being considered news, and that's not the case. In fact, a lot of news today isn't news. And I was having this discussion the other day with Maggie, because I was very upset about something that I saw on the TV, and I said, you know what? We don't got no news. We don't have news anymore. We have opinions.
Oh yeah.
I'm okay with that, Thomas. But you know what they need to do? They need to start every show
stating that
with a disclaimer. What you're about to view is the opinions of our news anchors. Then you can continue. The fact that who's the woman on MSNBC that I always watch when you come in? I forget her name.
Oh God, I don't remember her actual name. Yeah,
Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow and Alice Cooper. Is that what you said? Not Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
He's a singer.
Anderson
Cooper. You have these people who are, again, just like Alex Jones,
although
considered news.
If Alice Cooper gave the news, that would be very interesting.
You have these people considered news, and they get up there and just
talk.
They're so emotionally invested. You can tell by the way they're talking.
The way they emote, the way they talk, the topics they choose to discuss rather than just report on.
News should be emotionless. I hate to sound like a piece of shit that doesn't have empathy, but it should be emotionless. Your feelings should not be seeping through, because when you do that and pawn it off as news, you're now manipulating the minds of people.
You think, in this case then, with Alex Jones, let's serve as a PR doctor. Do you think then that all we need to do in order for Alex Jones to be more quote unquote acceptable, he's got to tone down, definitely.
He needs to quit being a blowhard. I think a lot of his information, as I was saying, 65%, I think is solid.
But because he's such a blowhard,
his message gets completely lost. I mean, he comes off as a conservative, and he's not. He's a libertarian. So I feel like these people, if they want their message to get out there, you need to learn to rework your play. But change the script, change the playbook. It's not working.
On the flip side, do you think that his popularity is because there are some people that look at Alex Jones and say, you know what, that guy's crazy, but he's honest. He's honestly crazy.
I think you can have that honesty without being crazy, though. I like Mike said, you don't need to be a blowhard to get your point across.
And you don't need to yell. You don't need to scream and yell unless it's for comedic reasons. You don't need to do that. No one listens to that. When you start hollering,
you sound insane.
And people shut you off, and your message gets completely diluted, and no one knows what you were saying.
Yeah.
So if I need to do the news on the network, do I have to create a brand new persona?
I think, Tony, you can come off as a racist, but you need to have a very good. You have to have a very cool demeanor about it.
Okay, but that sort of like defeats the purpose.
He wants to be a blowhard.
Wait, so you want to be a blowhard? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was hoping to be a racist.
Oh my Lord!
That's Christ.
All right, let's move to something lighter. Hooters is closing restaurants because millennials aren't interested in breasts anymore.
Let's kill the millennials. Forget this. Fuck them.
Didn't we just say no? Come on.
I'm sorry. You made me angry when all of a sudden you're attacking Hooters.
Tony, take two. Say the exact same thing you said, but say it more delightful.
Fuck the millennials.
No, you had a little too much. There's
not word for word.
No. Hold on. I do want you to say word for word.
Oh, okay.
But don't put so much emphasis on fuck.
Okay.
You gotta
ease it in there.
You got to lubricate. Here we are again.
The thighs.
You gotta lubricate my ear holes.
Okay.
Okay. You have to gently caress the ear area first before you go inside the ear hole.
Okay.
Play with the earlobes a little bit. Maybe nibble on them a bit. Maybe use your pinky around the outer edge, and then shove your entire finger into the ear hole.
Okay.
Okay? Can you do that for me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
And action.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No, word for word.
Oh. I'm trying to ease into it. Ladies and gentlemen.
He only has 2 settings.
Brothers and sisters.
Jesus.
We must fuck the millennials because
cut.
Now he's some kind of religious group.
You're still putting emphasis on fuck.
Oh, okay.
Say it casually, like it's a word, like an everyday word. Just it's no different than saying "Good morning, mother."
Good morning, fuck.
Okay, take 3 and action.
Good morning, fuck. The millennials.
He's not capable.
It got worse. It got so much worse.
Let's see if Thomas could do it. Take Tony's words, okay?
We got to fuck the millennials into trying to enjoy breasts the same way that Tony does.
That was better.
It's better, but no matter what, fuck comes across that hard ass.
I don't know. I'm not inspired, though.
Well, all right, Mike, show us how it's done.
Why do you always got to throw it back to me?
It's your show.
You did this. I'm trying to throw it to you guys so I can take a break. Andrew, try it. Oh, never mind.
Back to news.
You know what, Thomas? Yeah. I was getting too happy with Andrew.
Yep.
He literally looked like there were headlights.
He was like, "This has been too nice and comforting. I've got to go back into."
Did you look at his face?
I did. I wish I had a camera. It was perfect. It was literally deer in the headlights. I've never seen a better example.
It looked like squirrels do when you go into the camping and they know they're fucked and there's no way they can move fast enough. They just let themselves get run over. That's exactly what his face just looked like.
Maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe I should avoid the word.
We've moved on, Tony. Jesus Christ.
He still wants to fuck millennials.
He's like that actor that can't leave the casting room. Like, your audition's done, Tony. Get the fuck out of here. I can try again. Let me be more Daniel Day-Lewis in this one.
Yes.
Ready?
Let me violently penetrate.
See, he only has 2 modes. Violent jackhammer and off.
Jesus. Tony. I wish we could go to a time machine and see little Tony.
Oh my God, I'd pay so much money for that.
Oh.
So would I.
All right, so Hooters is closing his... I don't give a shit. Basically, there was a study done by Pornhub and saying that millennials are no longer interested in boobs and in nude women.
Really?
Yeah.
I would see. To me, I would think it's more. Jesus Christ! I would think it's more that Hooters doesn't have the appeal that it did way back in the day, thanks to the internet as a whole.
Well,
Hooters was racy.
Hold on a second. Hooters, yes, Andrew, what you're about to say. In the 80s, during its heyday, it was the only place
you could oogle in public.
It was the only place that a middle-aged or young adolescent child can go with their dad to watch the football game and not really watch the football game. Check out the ass and titties.
Right. The shorts, the tight shirts.
Honey, I'm going to go take our boy to get some wings.
It's father-son bonding time.
And meanwhile, they're watching boobs. I mean, that's exactly what my stepdad did. I mean, he took us to Hooters before we were even really into women. And I'm like, why are you looking at women? Like, come on.
Because you're too young at that point.
Yeah, I would see him. I'd see him checking them out as they walk by. I was like, this is uncomfortable. You're not even watching the game. What's the score, Dad?
Shut up. That's not why I brought you here.
So I do understand why the Hooters model is failing, because there's no reason for that. If you want to look at boobs, you can simply go to the internet. It's very easily accessible. It was a novelty that really worked in a time where it wasn't easily accessible to look at tits.
Yeah.
And get away with it.
Not so much anymore. It's not the same thing anymore.
Right now, you can go to the bathroom and pretend you're taking a shit and just scroll through Pornhub on your phone. I got the shits, honey.
You've been in there for 4 hours.
You make some fart sounds to confuse her.
Just keep flushing the toilet.
Yeah. Do not come over here. It's really bad. Meanwhile, you're looking at Christy Mack.
What you're looking at's really bad.
Yeah. So I do believe that's the problem with Hooters' business model. I get it. And they're now kind of changing their stores, and they're closing down their traditional stores and opening up like fast food chains where they serve their food now.
Rebranding.
Yeah, they're trying to rebrand. But this study that was done by Pornhub actually says that less and less millennials are looking up women with boobs. Although when they do, they search fake boobs over natural boobs, according to the study.
Tastes have changed, but we're all still going to look at porn. Like, that's just what it is.
But I mean, this is a thing that I see a problem though with. Like, I honestly do see that the sexuality of so many people it's going away. Sexuality has been looked down upon, and so many people, particularly men, have been browbeaten to feel like it's wrong to look at women. Because we're rapists or we're creeps or this and that. I obviously listen to the show and you hear how we talk about those things. Like, it very much is happening, Thomas.
Oh, absolutely it is.
So I'm wondering if that has a part to do with it as well, that we're changing the mindset. And some people may say, yeah, that's good. Change the mindset of men. They shouldn't be looking at women as objects. But I go back to my Sith teachings. And if a woman wants to be objectified by doing the job of porn, or she's doing an Instagram account with boobs showing, guess what? She's okay with it.
First of all, if someone's okay with it, let them be okay with it. And there's nothing wrong with
sexuality. And
no.
I feel like that is what's happening recently. And you see it even with some, not all, some of the feminist movement as well. They demonize sexuality, and that's not what it should be about. Don't demonize sexuality. Sexuality is the most natural thing.
For men or women, they demonize it.
It's a very natural thing, and you see it demonized even in media. On our TV and movies, you get worse ratings for sex, but meanwhile, you can show beheadings and people's eyeballs, glands, eye popping out. That's okay, but don't say a curse word or show boob.
That's is so
wrong.
Backwards.
Right. So I feel like there is a bit of demonization happening with sex, and that can also be the problem.
That's been a huge thing in America as a whole since we've been founded. But you're right that you can't. They demonize both. They demonize those who want to show off their body in any way. I remember Sofia Vergara got all kinds of crap for embracing her features, and yet they demonize you if you don't embrace it.
Right.
They demonize you if you're different in any capacity. And you're right. I think that there's nothing wrong with saying let's not objectify women. Sure, that is a good-minded goal. But telling people that you are a piece of scum, as so much of the rhetoric has become, that's the lowbrow, men are pigs, men are disgusting.
But they are.
It teaches children and kids and teenage boys that there's something wrong with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that I see at the gym as well.
Oh, God. The gym.
When I used to work at the gyms in the, I'd say late 90s, early 2000s into the mid 2000s, gyms was a place where, the whole meat market thing. And again, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe I'm debauched. I don't know. But when I go to the gym to work out, there's no checking out people.
No.
They are more consumed by checking themselves out, by taking selfies and video and staring at themselves in the mirror. Meanwhile, dude from college is staring at his abs in the mirror and taking a selfie. And meanwhile, behind him, there's one of the hottest chicks I've ever seen in my life walking past him, not even an eye glance.
He's in love with himself.
I think people are becoming more self-absorbed with themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because if they look for affection somewhere else, they're going to run into somebody who's just going to beat them down. We've gotten to the point where you cannot. And this
is this your own personal experience? Because you sounded very like
I was
this is real.
It's going to beckon back towards that.
So you're saying that you're afraid of rejection?
No, I'm not afraid of rejection. Okay. I actively go out to seek interaction with other people, but you cannot strike up a conversation at a bar anymore. You can't do it. It's something that's frowned upon. You go to the bar, you have your drink, you go the fuck home. and you smoke some weed.
You can't talk to chicks anymore at the bar?
I cannot talk to chicks.
And this is why, Thomas, I said like 2 weeks ago on the last show that I'm going to stay in my relationship for life because I am not going to because I'm going to guess what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get on the app. I'm going to go to the bar. I'm like, what's up?
And you're going to be the creepy old man. He didn't even try to use Tinder. He just tried to talk to me.
I'll dye my beard and flex my biceps.
I think though social media.
Wait, does that still work?
No.
No. I think social media though has created like an environment or an atmosphere where people are just so into themselves. They're so in love with themselves that they just refuse to acknowledge anything or anyone around them. Even like you said, going back to your gym deal, the guy's focused on the mirror. He's focused on his abs.
But if he looks
on his poise, and yet a hot girl walks by, not even a glance.
If he looks at that hot girl, he's going to be ostracized and told to leave the gym because he's
That's why we hate millennials.
Oh man!
I just want to point out this is another article that says millennials are killing another industry.
Okay,
millennials are killing the boob industry.
Okay, see,
nothing will kill the boob industry.
We always have talked that sex always sells, right? That's always been our gimmick since we started doing radio, Tony. Right. It was sex sells.
Yep, and that's why I'm here.
So stupid, and yet you see that the millennials are killing that. Now, is it a mindset of evolution, meaning it's progressive thought that we are rising above that, or is it self-absorbedness?
I think it's self-absorbedness, and I think for every
I don't want to rise above, because if rising above and evolving means less boobs in my life, I'm not having it.
You rise against?
I'm not having it at all.
I agree with that.
And I don't care. If it makes me sexist because I like women, then guess what? I guess I'm sexist.
Well, it doesn't even have to be women.
Do I make women like feel uncomfortable by staring at them? No, it's called one of those careful glances. Everybody does it. Well, obviously not, but people do it. When you're attracted to someone or you see the opposite sex and it looks good, guess what you do? You look. You have there's boundaries, and you don't make the people feel uncomfortable.
But for every industry that sex no longer sells in due to this mentality, if this continues, which I doubt it will, I think it'll be a generational thing. For every industry that happens, you will see a rise in porn usage and how many people are watching it, because anything you can't do out in public, you can always do from the safety of your computer.
So the Pornhub Insight kind of like demo thing.
So is Pornhub our database now of information and facts?
I mean, they're the most open and transparent about their users. They're really proactive in a lot of assets or facets.
Look at Andrew. Do they have a good selection of Yahweh porn?
I'm sure you can find it. And it's Yahweh.
Right. We need to post some Yahweh porn on the Invasion Force with a disclaimer and show people what he's into. I think it'd be funny.
Yahweh.
I'll leave Andrew to find the right thing for that and post it to the Invasion Force.
Did you say Owie?
Yahweh. It's always been Yahweh.
Oh, Yahweh.
Yahweh. Yahweh is like a religious deity from the great beyond.
I know what Yahweh means. Thank you.
But Pornhub
Indiana Jones spelled that name in Last Crusade.
That's true. Yeah, this is true. But Pornhub is saying that porn usage is going down and down up until like the 35 to 44 age demographic, and then it's skyrocketing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So millennials are watching porn,
but significantly less and less.
So they So what are you saying?
I'm saying that between 18 and 44, porn use has decreased significantly.
Okay.
While 44 and up, porn use has increased significantly.
All right. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Start watching porn.
Start watching porn and having sex. Come on.
People aren't having kids. They aren't having sex. What's happening to this race?
We have a whole
our entire, the humankind.
That's why we're so angry at each other. We're no longer relying on porn anymore.
Next thing we're going to be doing is blowing people up with vests.
Oh, God.
We need more woods porn. That's
wait, what?
Okay.
Woods
How
porn?
often have you gone into when you were a kid, your first exposure to porn was going into the woods?
Really?
Wait a second. You remember that story?
You've never, what?
That's what happened to me.
Wait, what?
It happened to everybody. Everybody used to go into the woods and stumble upon some dirty mags.
Really?
In the deep woods.
So that's normal.
Absolutely.
Wow. What the fuck are you
Here's
two
the best
talking
part.
about?
My deep woods.
And then what did Father Smith say to you?
Here's the best part. My first introduction to woods porn was in the bushes behind my church.
Woods porn.
Like I said, what did Father Smith say to you?
All right. Yeah, I've talked about this on the show before. Like, I was exposed to porn very early in life, and it's messed me up. And it was like, I want to say I was 4 or 5 years old, and it was actually in the woods. I was camping, and the campsite next to us, some sickos decided to be idiots and post porno mags all over the entire forest.
Wow.
It was on about 20 or 30 trees, just nailed to it all over the place. And me and my brother went over there, like, just playing, and we ran into it. We're like, what the hell is this?
I think it was
and
called
it traumatized me. It was
called bait.
Is that what you do?
Jeez, they were laying down bait, like how hunters, go after rabbits.
Most dangerous game, Tony over here. Good Lord, man.
I mean, think about it. They're laying
is this
down,
like the Steve Irwin of pedophiles?
Yeah, they're laying down the trap.
Crikey, that's a big one there.
You're lucky. They were laying down the trap for you guys.
That one's only 7 years old.
Yeah.
He's all crocky. If you look closely, hold on, let me go into the forest. Crocky.
This is how they
if you're ever wondering how they captured 12-year-old boys or 5, what you do, this is what we do down under. And no, that isn't a joke. This is what we do down under. We place porno mags all over the trees. And we hike back a couple yards and we watch as 4-year-olds watch the porn.
The most terrible thing we've ever said.
Oh, crocky. Never mind. I was about to say something.
I know. No, don't. I know exactly where you're going.
I think we got this one.
Oh.
All right. That's horrible. If there was a hell, I'd be going to it. All right. Oh, shit. All right. So Bobby just posted a message in the Evasion Force saying, I found my first porn in the woods.
Dude,
I told you.
Woods porn is a thing.
Am I the outsider here?
No, I'm with you, Thomas.
Wait. Okay. This is a thing. I think we need to hire someone to do an investigative report.
Dude, woods porn is a thing that's been around since like the 70s.
Wait, this is the...
Oh my God.
Now you're just making up stuff, Alex Jones.
Dead serious. I'm dead serious. Woods porn.
Can someone
my
Google...
grandfather had woods porn. That's not a joke, dude.
My grandfather had woods porn.
And his pappy had woods porn all the way back to 1776.
Yeah, the porn on the parchment was really hard to read, but, you could still figure out from the parchment,
So I have some definitions. I Googled woods porn. First couple of links, not what we're talking about, but enjoyable nonetheless. According to Urban Dictionary, woods porn, a porno magazine that is tucked away in the woods for the next generation of horny teenagers to find. It is known that that members of metal bands, Shadows Fall and From Autumn to Ashes, are great supporters of this.
No, you know what? I'm not a supporter of it. And yes, we're making jokes of it, but it messed me up.
Sure.
It messed me up.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
It's not natural for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old to see it. It's created so many issues. So many issues.
Next thing you know, the church gets involved.
You know what? I need some music to talk about this. I need to go into the woods. All right, let's.
Go.
I ate a bunch of cum. It's common knowledge. Just cum in my butt.
Oh, jeez.
And now it's time for news with Andrew.
Honey dick.
I gotta say,
The honey dick and the slap was the best part.
I love everything about that. Was that whether that was Dustin Lucas or Mike? I love that intro bit.
Perfect. Honey dick.
All right, go ahead, Andrew. Take us away.
Starting things off with a bikini-clad drunk woman biting a man's fishing line and getting arrested. A Florida woman has been arrested on public drunkenness charges after she bit a man's fishing line and swam off with his lure, authorities said.
Wait, hold on. Bobby says, I thought girls got pregnant from BJ's because of the magazine. See, doesn't this make sense? Look at Bobby is another deviant.
He is.
It's not safe. Keep your kids out of the woods.
The woods are dangerous.
The more you know.
Forget Sasquatch. You got to be cautious of that woods porn.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Andrew.
Alexandria Turner, age 22, approached the St. Johns County Pier and began cursing at Robert Gonzalez, who was fishing with a rented pole, according to the sheriff's office. The woman bit his line and took off with his rigging, according to St. Johns County Sheriff's Office arrest report. When a deputy arrived, Turner refused to accompany him to the pier rental office so she could pay for the damage done to the fishing gear, the report said.
How much damage can you really do if you're biting it with your own mouth?
A lure can cost anywhere between a couple of bucks and like $30-$50.
Yeah.
So,
no, I would say he caught something. Oh,
hey. This is a whale you do not want to catch.
Oh, that's offensive. That's offensive.
I like how Mike's like, that's offensive, and Tony's like, good one. It's funny.
I endorse that message.
All right, go ahead.
Turner, who was wearing a bikini, became belligerent and screamed several times, "I am effing naked," according to the document. The woman smelled of alcohol and refused to be handcuffed, authorities said. She was forcefully escorted to a patrol car and booked into the county jail on misdemeanor charges of public drunkenness and resisting arrest.
Does anyone know her issue? Like, the guy's fishing on a pier. Like, F off, first of all.
He was fishing in her swimming area, maybe?
Maybe he was using the right type of bait.
A Whataburger.
She was released on Wednesday after spending 2 days behind bars. A judge sentenced her to time served.
Legitimately, a Whataburger might catch me. Like, what is this?
I'm not a millennial, so boobs would catch me.
Oh. Just disembodied breasts on a fishing line.
All right, what else does it say, Andrew? Come on.
That is the end of the Bikini Bandits.
All right, what else do we have in the news then, please?
A woman says if she gets 4,000 retweets, she won't abort a baby. Then things get a lot darker.
Don't retweet. That's a new form of birth control.
In the 11 years since Twitter...
What birth... Do you guys got condoms? No, just don't retweet my next tweet.
I got Twitter. And a low following
As long
number.
as I get no favorites, we're A-okay.
In the 11 years since Twitter revolutionized the way we use social media, it has been both used and abused by its 1 billion users.
That's almost like evidence for my whole millennials and being self-absorbed.
Oh, yeah. No, this is absolutely...
Like, I'm not going to abort this as long as I get favorites. Can you guys...
Everyone likes me.
If you retweet this, that's so important. Go ahead.
It has helped mobilize revolutions such as the Arab Spring, and it can break huge news stories long before mainstream media are on the scene. Then again, it is also routinely and inadvisably used by the 45th President of the United States, as of course we all know from his Twitter spats. But it's not just public figures who attract attention on the Twitter sphere with their antics. Regular people regularly attract adversity too. Take this lady, for instance. A young woman known as Cy Painting. Cy Panting.
A side painting?
Is going
she
viral.
Does painting on the side? What?
SAI Panting.
She's panting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is going viral after posting an alleged pregnancy announcement and then threatening to get an abortion unless she got enough retweets.
That's terrible. In all seriousness, like, that's what you're basing your decisions on? Twitter?
The tweet said, 4 months pregnant, 4,000 RTs, and I won't abort it.
4 months?
Yeah.
Wait, she gave him 4 months to do it?
She's already 4 months pregnant.
Oh,
yeah, that's
that
like
ship
late term.
has sailed.
That's a dirty. That's a dirty.
Yeah.
I might like her.
Oh.
It may seem like an awful attention-seeking ploy, but there are those who believed her and expressed their concern. And of course, it got a whole lot murkier after that, and confusing when the purported father of the baby got involved and expressed his shock at the pregnancy. Not only this, but we got a glimpse into how their relationship
baby,
ended.
I thought we were going to name him Tim. What happened? Now you want to abort this child? Come on. Your county's even verified, baby.
The boyfriend said in a tweet,
you know what? To be fair, it's not just millennials. It is a lot of people because of the advent of social media and look at me, I have a camera, I'm important. look at me. It has happened. And Donald Trump is a victim of that as well. Not a victim. He's a culprit.
He embraces it.
Yeah, he's the embodiment of narcissism.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that he needs to tweet constantly his opinions and policy.
He's already the president.
Yeah.
Why do you need more recognition?
I would just be doing press conferences. I'm like, Melania's great. Melania's great. All right, end of press conference.
Had sex last night. It was fantastic. I was huge.
The boyfriend said, you told everyone I died, and then you sold my dogs for tickets to a Lil Pump concert. So, of course, there's no love between these two, if it is all true.
Hey, guys, I get it. Hey, this is Donald Trump right now. I was taking a shit.
Nope,
and I decided I have nothing better to do, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys and tweet. But, Thomas, you're right. I mean, Melania is hot, had sex last night, and Melania's pregnant. No one knows yet, but I am tweeting it. I'm also saying it on the show right now. Let me calm these emojis down. Hold on. Oh, my God.
You got a lot of stuff going on there.
Oh, hold on. I also have a big one coming. Hold on.
You know he tweets while he's shitting. Half of the things he does, I guarantee you he's just bored.
Yeah.
Someone needs to introduce him to Candy Crush and get him off Twitter because he's tweeting while taking a shit. Guaranteed. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah. Everyone does.
It's, of course, at this point that it might get a little bit far-fetched. But in the end, she did get her 4,000 retweets regardless of whether or not she was
pregnant as well. And if you guys give me at least 25,000 retweets, I'm going to go ahead and abort the child. Chances are it's going to come out deformed anyway. She's getting older. She shouldn't be having kids. So please, help us out. Help us out. I don't want a mentally challenged child. I mean, what would that do for me? I'm the president of the United States. I can't have that.
President Trump, how exactly are you going to abort this child?
Hold on one second. I got to concentrate on this one. Hold on. All right, go ahead. I'm also tweeting still, too, at the same time. Hold on.
It's just one long onomatopoeia. Are you done yet, sir?
I got to tweet my plan for transgenders. Hold on.
He needs more fisting.
Oh, dear.
All right. Andrew, what were you saying now? Go ahead.
Mr. President, how exactly are you yourself personally going to abort this baby if you do not get your 250,000 retweets?
Sir, can you stop shitting for just a minute?
We're in a press conference. Can you, shove a cork in it in half a second?
Wait, who said anything about press conference? I'm taking a shit. I called into the show, and I'm tweeting at the same time.
Mr. President, you're live streaming from the bathroom.
All successful people know how to do more than one thing at a time. All right?
Go ahead.
That's all I got. That's all I got for Psy painting.
All right, what else do we have in the news?
Feds spend $400,000 studying if gender norms make LGBTQ people get drunk.
Wait, what?
Let's find out.
I'm kind of confused by that.
The National Institutes of Health.
Wait, aren't LGBTQ people human beings?
Yes.
So, I mean, study
Last
done.
time I checked.
Hey, guys, study is done. This study we had planned, it's done. They're humans, right? Yeah, okay. Alcohol affects them the same.
First two questions. Do humans have sex? Do humans enjoy alcohol? If yes to both, study over.
Yeah. What a waste of money.
$400,000.
Yeah.
For what exactly?
Well, the article goes into that. So the National Institutes of Health is spending over, of course, $400,000 studying whether gender norms of masculinity and femininity lead LGBTQ individuals to drink too much. Trying to find the means of intoxication of sexual and gender minorities is the central question of a study that was awarded in late July.
That sounds like a headache.
What?
That sounds like someone trying to be super intellectual.
I don't even understand the question. And I'm not trying to be an ass. I really don't.
They got funding by sheer confusion. The board that decides who gets what each year for different studies was like, what did you just say? You know what? Here's $400,000. Get the hell out of my office, please.
Yeah.
So the next sentence kind of clarifies it a little bit. The project will examine the extent to which gendered norms shape risky drinking practices for sexual and gender minority young adults, according to the grant for the study. The grant states that alcohol is an integral component of bars and clubs, and alcohol has played a central role for SGMs, as they are calling them, by facilitating exploration of sexuality.
I gotta tweet this out. I don't know if I agree with this this study. Who gave $400,000 of my American money to these people to do this study? I think we just get rid of them. Put them in camps. Oh. Study done. Right? Am I right? Hold on, let me tweet this.
I agree with you.
All right, go ahead.
Let's see. Alcohol has played a central role for SGMs to as a coping mechanism with minority stress, trauma, and stigma, and serving as an integral component of bars and clubs for SGM young adults. Given this central role, it is not surprising that problematic alcohol use, including heavy episodic drinking and intoxication and alcohol-related problems, are significant
You know what?
issues.
I'm so bored with this.
Young people who have a different sexuality than the norm drink a lot?
Are being pressured into drinking a lot as a coping mechanism.
If you're a young adult, you're pressured into drinking a lot.
It's called peer pressure. It's been something that's been going on since the dawn of time. All right?
We're people, guys. We're people, and we like to drink. Why is this costing $400,000? Oh my God, this is tax money, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is.
This is insane.
Yeah. Ever since Sandra D was peer pressured into becoming part of Grease Lightning's group and Grease, it's been a thing.
Oh, God.
All right, go ahead.
Researchers will conduct in-depth interviews with approximately 200 lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer individuals about their alcohol use to determine why they drink.
Because it's fun.
Central research questions include: what are the meanings of intoxication for SGM adults?
I want to know how much money these people pocketed.
I'd say at least half of that.
Does it really take $400,000 to come up with the fact that people drink more to cope?
People drink to be accepted by others. People drink to cope for all kinds of reasons. People drink for it's fun.
Yeah,
and people drink to hook up with people they want to hook up with.
Yeah.
So why would this group be any different than anybody else?
Yeah, it's a waste of money. What else do we have in the news? I can't take it. I can't take it, Thomas. Quit putting common sense into this.
I'm sorry, it hurts.
Go ahead.
Well, let's see. The next article that we have here is...
What's the article
that we have here
and otter
is titled "White People. Here are 10 requests from a Black Lives Matter leader."
Ooh.
Pay attention, Thomas.
I don't know. Do we want to get into this?
Do you want to? It's your show, man.
All right. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into this.
Okay, strap on.
So this is an article by Chanel Helm from LeoWeekly.com. Some things I am thinking about that should change in that Southern Black grandma voice. 1. White people, if you don't have any descendants, will your property to a black or brown family, preferably one that lives in generational poverty.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's take these one by one.
Sure.
Briefly. I want to go really fast. I'm actually okay with that one. Why not? If you white people, if you don't have any descendants, it's just going to go get wasted, go back to the banks. You know what? Let's put that one as an icebreaker. Sure. I can deal with that one. All right, next one.
2. White people, if you are inheriting property...
I feel like they're discriminating against me, though, because I'm Mexican. Are they not talking to me?
Not yet.
No, you get the house that I don't
nothing.
get.
Yeah. You get nothing.
Oh, okay.
Are you a brown family?
Oh, that's true. All right, go ahead. Well, then, you know what? Give me your house, Thomas.
I just sold it. Sorry.
All right, go ahead, Andrew. What's the next one say?
Number 2, white people. If you are inheriting property you intend to sell upon acceptance, give it to a black or brown family. You are bound to make that money in some other white privileged way.
Oh, fuck you.
There, you lost it right there.
That's a little condescending.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right, well, hold on. Next one. Let's go through these. Next one. Let's be fair. Come on, go ahead.
3. If you are a developer or realty owner of multifamily housing, build a sustainable complex in a black or brown blighted neighborhood and let black and brown people live in it for free.
I don't know about for free.
Nobody can afford to do it for free.
But I definitely can get behind building better, sustainable homes in impoverished areas. I can get behind that. But living in for free, I mean, how is that fair when other people don't get to live?
That's not sustainable,
yeah.
Period, though.
Yeah.
If you want to build something, fine.
We don't want to handicap elements of our society more by giving them a free home to live in. I mean, if you want to give them a free home temporarily, for 6 months, a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years for them to get back on their feet, fine. But there needs to be a cutoff. You can't just get...
That just teaches people not to work for anything.
Yeah. All right, next one.
4. White people, if you can afford to downsize, Give up the home you own to a black or brown family, preferably a family from a generational poverty.
Let's get through these. No more opinions. Just get through them.
5, white people. If any of the people you intend to leave your property to are racist assholes, change the will and will your property to a black or brown family, preferably from a family from generational poverty. 6, white people. Rebudget your monthly budget so you can donate to black funds or for land purchasing. 7, white people, especially white women, because this yaw specialty, Nosy Jenny and Meddling Kathy.
Because that's not racist.
Get a racist fired. Y'all know what the fuck they be saying.
What the hell?
Y'all know what the fuck they be saying.
I wonder if this policy will be written that way as well.
I have so much to say.
I'm
going to hold it.
I think it's Ebonics. We need it interpreted.
Hold on.
Let me finish it.
Please.
You are complicit when you ignore them. Get your boss fired because they racist too. 8. Backing up number 7. This should be easy, but all those sheathless Klan, Nazi, and other lil dick white men will be returning to work. Get they ass fired. Call police even. They look suspicious.
Okay.
And we got 2 more. Let's go for it. Okay. Backing up number 8. Number 9. If any white person at your work or as you enter spaces and you overhear a white person praising the actions from yesterday, first get a pic, get their name and more info. Hell, even find out where they work or get them fired. But certainly address them. And if you need to, you got hands, use them.
Oh, good. Physical violence.
Yeah, 10, commit to 2 things.
That's 11 then.
Commit to 2 things. Fighting white supremacy where and how you can. This in parentheses. This doesn't mean taking up knitting unless you're making scarves for black and brown kids in need. And funding black and brown people and their work. Hashtag run us our land. Hashtag reparations. Hashtag you gun learn today. Hashtag run us our money.
I'm not sure what that last one means.
All right, I'm going to touch on this briefly, and then we're going to move on. Okay? Not once. I can't take her seriously.
No.
Not once does she mention education at all. If she really cared,
about
and she wasn't trying to just get on a soapbox and look at me, I'm in charge now. There's no validity to what she's saying because she didn't even bring up real things. It's about give me your house. Give me. And there's nothing
job.
about, hey, help us get out of the hood. Help us become educated. Help us out in the schools that are riddled with drugs, that are riddled with gangs. None of that. And she threw me in the mix by saying black or brown. Mm-hmm. I am considered brown. And I just can't, I can't really get behind her ideas at all because there's no common sense to it. There's no common sense.
It's short-term gains. It's give me this now, not help any generations in the future.
The biggest problem in the hood, and this is from a person who came from the hood, okay? The biggest problem is the whole entire idea of the school to prison pipeline. Because of the no tolerance policy and other things that have been established to keep kids of color, minorities out of areas of importance because of their crimes they've committed, because of the lifestyle they were forced to live, because of living in a hood. I can get behind all that. They need to quit with some of those no tolerance policies and allow these kids to continue the education if they're serious about it. The prison or the school to prison pipeline is a thing. There's an issue where kids go directly from school right to prison, and that's all they know. We need to formulate a plan of educating some of the impoverished people in these neighborhoods. Teach them the importance of education and the family unit. Because that is, I know that sounds very old-fashioned, but it's true. And I'm not talking the classic, you need a husband and a wife. I don't care if you're gay or lesbian. The importance of family and family structure. That is why these hoods are torn apart. Yes, the white people did put them in there because of segregation. The entire wall bit we did with Greg was about that. There has always been a wall because of zip codes you can't enter. So yes, but that was more or less before the 60s and the 70s. And because of certain individuals going into areas where they can afford, we have a problem now that can't be stopped. You're in these areas. These areas are poor. You're not going to be living it up on Rodeo Drive. You're not. Just because you want some white person to give that to you, it's not going to happen. What needs to happen is the entire idea of the hood needs to be changed. And there needs to be emphasis on education and family. Because how many young black children have no father? There is no emphasis on family. You teach and educate. And yes, it may be said, oh, it's easier said than done because this mother, poor black mother, needs to work 2 or 3 jobs to support her 4 or 5 kids. She's a single mother. Yes, that's a problem. You help her. Help her get the money she needs so she can spend more time with her kids and educate them. You start educating these kids, and guess what you're going to see? You're going to see neighborhoods completely transform. The reason why we have gangs, both white supremacist gangs, neo-Nazis, brown pride gangs, the Chicanos, Bloods and Crips, the reason why we have these gangs is because of no sense of belonging and anger, because of their way of life, because of lack of education and lack of family. Yes, the black folk, Mexican folk have been dealt a bad card, specifically the black people with slavery. But what other race has been dealt a terrible card and was annihilated for being Jewish? The Jewish people, obviously. It was them.
Shock.
Mowed down by the millions, and yet they flourish now. Why do they flourish? Because there's an emphasis on family and education. You tackle those issues, not saying it's a cure-all. If you tackle education and family, and you work from those problems from the ground up, you're going to see these hoods change. You're going to see more and more opportunities opening up. My mother put education as an importance, put family as an importance. And guess what? I'm out. And I make a pretty decent good living. Decent good living? I don't speak well, but I'm educated.
It's not a cure-all, you said.
Yeah, exactly. It's not 100%. It needs to be, a few things need to be worked out. This right here is a belligerent woman that's now become the self-proclaimed mouthpiece of the new black movement. Martin Luther King had a dream that all people would be united and work together in harmony.
Would be judged by not by the color of their skin.
Didn't have a dream about him being handed everything.
Yeah.
Please do not fall victim to this type of speech. This is horrible rhetoric that's being trumped as the new radical left for the black agenda. The Black Lives Matter movement is bullshit. Specifically, since this is the mouthpiece and this is their 10 demands. And yet not one demand had a morsel of common sense.
Yep. It wasn't anything you could actually do, realistically, that would have an impact other than giving current people something.
Hey, white people, give us all of your old textbooks. White people, donate to a fund to help us get new textbooks for our kids. White people, help my son go to college. Where are those requests? I can get behind those.
But I want a house.
Yeah. For free.
Yeah.
I want to live in that shit for free.
Also, I love how it's white people, especially white women, calling them Nosy Jenny and Meddling Kathy, get a racist fired. That's like if we flipped, I always go by, if you flipped the race or gender, would it be a horrific statement? That's like saying, dear black people, get a,
Here, you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we say this type of stuff on the show because it's comedy. If I was trying to speak for my people, I would not use a racial term like Nosy Nancy and what was the other one she used?
Meddling Kathy.
Meddling Kathy. It's no different than saying, hey, guys, get white people fired. All right, Dante and Shaniqua, let's get Dante's and Shaniqua's out of here. That's basically what she said.
It's exactly the same sentence.
her entire demands was littered with racism.
If you want people to take you seriously, you have to rise above your hatred.
Not even Malcolm X. Malcolm X was angry and violent, but his intentions were pure. He was a passionate individual. This woman is an entitled bitch.
Yeah. Say it again.
Jesus.
Say it again.
Notice the brown guy said that.
Yeah, say it again.
I'm just saying that, a lot of people don't even agree with Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a Martin Luther King guy.
Yeah.
But Malcolm X was pure and passionate. And he was smart and intelligent. This woman is an embarrassment. And she's the mouthpiece of the new black movement.
That's sad that this is the person that represents an entire group.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, what else do we have in the news now that you brought me down?
Let's do it.
Please, let's move to something better.
Yeah. How about a professor getting a $300,000 grant for a digital fake news detector?
How?
Yeah.
Yeah, go
How
ahead.
It's not a question, it's a statement. Just, you're the news, Andrew. Come on now.
2 Penn State professors have received $300,000 from the National Science Foundation to develop technology that will enable digital devices to weed out fake news.
You mean eliminate news that you don't want people to know,
exactly,
so you could steer the narrative and push your own agenda. Let's go to the next news topic, please.
Trump is meeting and tweeting his Harvey moment. As Tropical Storm Harvey pummeled Texas, President Donald Trump initially responded in the characteristic fashion. He turned to Twitter.
Oh, God. He's on the toilet again.
Yep. Great coordination between agencies of all levels
How
of government.
amazing would it be if he actually was tweeting this while he was taking a shit?
Oh, that'd be great.
God. It'd be a fly on the wall.
Continuing rains and flash floods are being dealt with. Thousands rescued, Trump tweeted on Sunday morning. In a separate tweet, he said that many people are now saying this is the worst storm/hurricane they have ever seen. Good news is that we have great talent on the ground. As Harvey continues to threaten millions in southeast Texas coast with downpours and heavy flooding, the Trump administration moved to show the public that they are addressing a catastrophic storm that could become a defining moment for his presidency.
He's on the toilet.
He's on the toilet. Okay. All right. Well.
Oh, you guys are there. I didn't know you guys were there. I didn't know you guys actually picked up. I was waiting for you guys to pick up. I thought I was listening in. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I did tweet during Harvey.
Were you on the toilet, sir?
Yeah, I was actually watching the news clip while I was taking a shit. It was very amazing.
So you were shitting, watching TV, and tweeting.
Yeah, all the same. That's the kind of person I am, Tommy. That's the kind of person I am. It's the amount of just sheer talent I have and care that while I'm taking a poo, I'm also watching the news and tweeting about it as well. Tweeting my condolences. God bless America and the people of Texas. Look at them work. Look at the swimmers.
Look at the swimmers.
Yeah, look at the swimmers. I mean, luckily, part of Texas that was flooded out was actually part of Mexico at one time. So the Mexicans they're very good at swimming. Very good at swimming.
Oh, there it is.
You don't see a death poll saying Mexicans died. Only some white people. Mexicans are tremendously talented swimmers. I can get behind that. Definitely. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Mexican people and their swimming abilities.
Go ahead.
As Harvey continues to threaten a defining moment. On Sunday, as the president returned to the White House from Camp David in Maryland, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced that the president will travel to Texas on Tuesday, though she did not specify a location or further details of the trip. We are coordinating logistics with state and local officials, and once details are finalized, we will let you know, Sanders said.
All right, let's go to the next news topic, please. Let's get this done.
Dating apps like Tinder are fueling a rise in cancer-causing STI, and is all linked to oral sex.
Oh,
wait a second.
Wait.
Dating apps like Tinder are fueling a rise in cancer-causing STIs, huh? And it's all linked to oral sex. Okay, go ahead.
Dentists have warned dating apps have caused a significant rise in sexual behavior that has driven a rise in nasty infections.
Okay, hold on. When you, Thomas, had your STD, I'm not going to make it sound like an STI is a new way to kind of fluffy it up and make it sound not so bad. It's an STD.
Same thing.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty STD. When you got your dirty STD, Thomas, all right?
Yes.
Did you pick up this young lady on Tinder?
No.
Thank you. What are you, Andrew now?
I thought you had a follow-up question. No, it was not Tinder. It was a friends with benefits situation of a girl I had already dated.
Friends with benefits?
So I knew her, yes.
Yeah.
So it was not some random strange I found on a phone.
Okay. Interesting. All right, go ahead. Did you know, one thing I want to get to the bottom of really fast, Thomas, is after you realized you had an STD.
Yeah.
Did you go back to her?
No.
I don't believe
I don't believe
Did you
so.
have
My
sex with her
timeline
again?
might be. No, I did. Yes.
You dumb.
I did.
You dumb.
So after you knew she gave you bread in the mouth,
Yep.
you
wanted seconds.
You went back.
I did.
It was a nice
for another
imported
loaf.
sourdough.
Yeah.
I did. Well, I'm a disgusting human
So
being,
I'm looking
right?
for more bread.
Jesus, Thomas.
I didn't want to go to the store.
Hey, yo, girl,
Did
you got that dough?
Hold on, Thomas. You really did go back.
I believe so. If my timeline in my head is correct, then I did, yes.
Did she know that she gave you something?
No.
You didn't tell her.
No.
So you...
Because it wasn't like a
you didn't want to
serious
ruin
condition.
it. You didn't want to ruin it. So you're like,
Also that.
So you're like, well, it's
If
just...
it had
it's
been
just
something far more worse, then I would have
like
told her.
chlamydia of the mouth?
Yeah, I would have told her.
Yeah.
But it was something temporary, so...
So you're like, no harm, no foul?
No harm, no foul. I'm a very lax person.
Jesus, Thomas.
Jesus.
All right, what else does it say?
Up to half of the population will be infected by the human papillomavirus at some time in their life. In most cases, the immune system fights
Isn't that
it
an
off.
island? Papilloma?
But it can sometimes persist and lead to cancer, notably cervical cancer, which around 90% of cases is caused by HPV. It is linked to 1 in 20 cancers, including throat and oral cancers, which dentists are often the first to spot during checkups.
And you know what? This is why, Thomas, I'm staying in my relationship forever.
So you don't get throat cancer?
Long-term relationships. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
It's true.
You just diddle, and go to sleep peacefully.
I just imagine you rolling over and just snoring away.
No wiping it off, no towel. Just fall asleep with my dick in her. I mean, it's fine.
The British
because then the hardness goes away and I shrink and I just fall out. That's disgusting. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever said. But it happens. Tell me that hasn't happened to you before.
It happens.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you're like, I'm going to just stay in and see how long I can stay.
And you're like, well.
I just slipped out.
The British Dental Association is now calling for an HPV vaccination to be offered to all school children to reduce their risk of catching the disease.
Diseases are so gross.
Girls aged 12 to 13 are offered...
Sex is so disgusting. Like, it's a breeding ground for
Who
just
cares?
filthiness. You're right. Who cares when you're in the heat of the moment? But, like, when you really think about it, sex is just disgusting. Like an exchange of fluids and bacteria.
If you want to be a scientist about it, it is disgusting.
Yes, I'm going to be a scientist about this.
That's not what it's about, so have fun.
Oh, sex is disgusting.
Wash your hands and have fun.
Girls aged 12 to 13 are offered the
Thomas
jab.
is going to say that as he is getting treated for HIV. Whatever.
HIV? It went that bad?
Whatever.
Jesus, what happened?
Just take some Advil and you're okay.
Are offered the jab to help protect them from cervical cancer as part of the NHS childhood vaccination
You know
program.
what? I only put this in here to talk about Thomas.
Yeah, I figured as much.
You know what? We're going to end the show, but don't go anywhere because as soon as we're done with the music, we're going to come back with the No Talent Autistic Post Show hosted by Andrew.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to The Rain Man Show with your host, Michael Flores, with hosts Tony Sabal and Thomas Cowley, Andrew Spindler with the news, audio guru Dustin Lucas, produced by Michael Flores and Dustin Lucas. The Rain Man Show is a Cazador Productions and Rain Man Digital broadcast production. For all things Rain Man, go to rainmanshow.com.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Rain Man Recap, or Autistic Andrew Hour, or whatever we're calling it.
As demonstrated by
the intro.
That says it all.
It's a feel good episode of the recap, right? We started things off with airing the dirty laundry and our thighs lubricated in the forest of ease and enjoyment.
Forest of ease.
It's still the theme of wood porn. You know, like, and quite honestly, when you guys started bringing up wood porn, I'm like thinking, what the hell? We're having sex with puppets? What the hell? You know, like Pinocchio?
There was a lot of sexual talk.
Yeah,
there's a lot of sexual talk.
Starting with Andrew's thighs.
And it started with you.
It started with me. Of course, we are speaking of the phenomena that is woods porn that so many youth in this country have experienced, where you just hanging out in the woods, going out with your buddies, and then all of a sudden there's a pile of dirty mags.
Now, I have to say that, fortunately, Thomas and I have not experienced that sort of phenomena. Am I correct, Thomas?
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck you two were talking. You and Mike got off on a whole tangent about that.
Yeah, I thought that you were going to
childhood.
have sex with logs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. So people can listen to that and find out.
For sure. And then, of course, we did talk about the flooding in Texas and Melania Trump and her sexy, sexy stilettos that can even make a life-threatening flood look hot.
According to Mike.
To Mike. We did touch on the solar eclipse and the fervor over schools freaking out about children looking at the sun, you know, as you do, during the eclipse. And, of course, I had to bring in a little bit of information about how there were countless counterfeit eclipse glasses that were sold to these schools.
Well, because the question came about, are kids just dumber these days, or was there some other underlying cause? Mm-hmm. Which I think parents are dumber, frankly, which results in kids not knowing any better. But, yeah, there's a whole counterfeit sunglasses nonsense.
Well, someone made money somewhere.
Yeah. And then, of course, we did get a little political, as we do. And we were talking about our last political segment on the last show, and people had some pretty positive feedback for that. So look forward to more of serious switching back between political and comedy.
A discussion, more serious discussions, because we did, you guys have been there, we did kind of take a break after Donald Trump and the election of 2016 and just everyone getting burnt out with it. So we took a bit of a hiatus and tried to stick more funny for our own mental sanity. And then Mike really brought it around last show about being serious again. And you know, that might be something we just need to do.
It's going to be something balance. Where we go up and down, sort of like a constant, I don't know, wave. You know,
a wave between funny and political seriousness.
Yeah.
It all depends on just what the climate is, you know, right? And what we have to react to.
Yeah.
Climate, hurricane, haha.
People died.
They did.
25 property damage.
Yeah, way to go, weather jokes.
The best. Red Cross is not going to give anybody that money. But moving on.
No.
Hooters is changing the way they do business because of millennials are not interested in boobs, so it's yet another industry that millennials are ruining.
Which upset Mike quite greatly.
He was on fire.
I respect that, though. I don't want to ruin his discussion points. People can listen, but I respect his stance on that.
No, I think that, you know, like...
it makes you question, what does the future hold? In regards to boobs.
I think that...
And that's an important question.
I mean, if millennials had it their way, there would be no more sex.
Oh, hey, come on. I'm the deviant of the show here, probably, and I'm a millennial, technically.
I mean, I would imagine your deviance, like, stops at the barbell through the peen.
We don't know.
You're right.
We haven't had the rest of the secrets revealed on the Rain Man show at the end of the year, so we'll find out.
White people be crazy. White people be crazy.
Speaking of white people, going into the news, we had a bikini-clad drunk woman biting off a man's fishing lure and getting arrested for a drunken disorderly, basically.
Just dumb people doing dumb things.
People. A woman trying to abort her baby, but not really.
Sick.
That's insane.
Via Twitter.
Do you think that she was pregnant? Like actually, genuinely pregnant?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I almost want to say that she wasn't. She was so desperate for the attention. She wanted the 4,000 likes.
That's just terrible.
No,
if that's the truth.
But you know what? Social media allows you to get away with shit like that.
Okay, quick little side discussion. Yeah. Would you say that's worse? That she legitimately uses it, like maybe not legitimately, but uses it for, maybe I'll get an abortion or not. Or the fact that she stooped that low to even fake the idea in order just to get attention.
It would not surprise me if she stooped that low. It was for the attention.
Guaranteed.
Which do you think is worse, though?
Oh, God.
I think that's worse.
I think that particular issue should stay in the bedroom or the household or the washing machine or whatever.
Information.
It's none of your business. You know,
I do think it'd be worse if she stooped to that level for attention.
See, that being said, if she was asking for support and like, how do I deal with this? Like, what are my resources? Where do I go? Then it'd be like,
well, she's going about it all wrong.
Right. And then, of course, we had to figure out if gender norms are making people get drunk. The Fed spending $438,000. I
don't even want to talk about that. They can listen. That's just a stupid ass fucking topic.
Black Lives leader in Louisiana gets crazy and goes on a rant against white people. But of course, what else is new with that?
Well, that was a 10 points of what some leader in the group wanted white people to do or adhere to. And as we said, trying to be a little more serious with some stuff, Mike really went off on a serious discussion about why this is a flawed list, what should have been stated, and kind of the change in which social activism has kind of gone down the toilet, not just like Black Lives Matter, but in all avenues. It used to be that it kind of stood for something. The leaders were people you could respect, and now there are people who are just spouting off anger and hate because they don't know any better. And you know, for the Rain Man Show, we kind of try to be funny most of the time, but this was one of those more serious discussions.
If anybody is going to listen to the entirety of the show or show a bit of the show to somebody that you like and try to get them into the network, that speech talk, I guess, by Michael is definitely worth showing some people. Bring them in. Professor getting $30,000 for a grant for digital fake news. Mike wrote that off and says, "You don't like it, we're writing it out." Trump is meeting and tweeting in Harvey, all, of course, while on the toilet. And Tinder is feeling a rise in human papillomavirus.
Which I think we all wanted to, or not we all, but Mike wanted to discuss just to give me some shit.
Yeah.
Which, well deserved, but I stand by the past. I guess I really can't change
letter.
it.
That's her scarlet letter.
Just Pasha says just
bread.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just a big B.
From here on
with
out,
the Wonder Bread color logo design.
From here on out is your scarlet letter for the network.
That's incredible. Just bread mouth. And thank you, of course, for listening to the Andrew Autistic Hour Rain Man wrap up. We'll see you next time.
Wait, seriously? You just ended it without anything? Like, you just ended
What do I do? I don't know how to end this thing.
It's an autistic ending. Just leave it. That's perfect.
Yeah, that was perfect.
That's perfect.
You were in the chair. I thought you came back. You sat down. I thought that was it.
You gotta leave it. Yeah.
Where I come from isn't all that great.
Oh, just come in my butt.